Hey, Karen, did you have a chance to make those copies for me yet?
Why, no, Kevin, I didn't. I was too scared to do it. I don't understand those copy machines, and I don't think we got a Kinko's anywhere close. Sorry, I'm just too stupid to figure it out. Hello, this is Karen.
And this is Kevin.
And this is Right From Us. Okay, so that's we did that for two reasons. One, Kamala Harris talking about how people in rural areas don't have a Kinko's close, so they can't take copies of their ID. First of all, that's insulting.
What's the deal with them in rural people?
But it's
people in
proof
rural
positive.
Areas can't make a copy.
It's proof positive they have no idea what they're talking about. They've been so enmeshed, enclosed in their little isolated bubbles. They have no idea how real people live.
It shows you what they think of.
Well, yeah, they think they're stupid. We're just a bunch of stupid hillbillies from the Ozarks.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Well, and then, something else that got me fired up this week was the CEO of our hospital came out in an interview on a TV show, or not TV show, but a news station, talking about how there's a direct correlation to the educated people as far as vaccination. So if you're more educated,
you're more likely to
get the vaccine. But if you're not as educated, you're less likely to get the vaccine. He said that about his employees, by the way. He was specifically talking about his employees, which I am one of them.
Yeah, really, isn't it the exact opposite of that? People that have educated themselves about the vaccine are the ones that are hesitant at this point.
Oh, absolutely. That's why we're hesitant, because we've read too much. We know too much about it. We know too many things about it.
There's probably some misinformation out there. There definitely is misinformation.
Let's be fair on both sides.
But, perfectly qualified doctors on both sides are for and against it. So, wouldn't it be better just to hesitate and just find out who's right?
Well, yeah, of course, especially when it comes to success. We don't know what this can do to your body. We don't know anything about this. We're the guinea pigs. They've never had a success. That's enough for me to say, "Whoa, I'll wait."
Can you say that? Can you say that on YouTube?
Well, I just did, so we'll see if we're still around.
Yeah, that's the really just it's a shame. You can't even discuss it. You can't even just make a post about it on Facebook or Twitter without it getting taken down.
Yeah, this is what my CEO said. That hesitation almost correlates directly with your educational level in our organization, he said. So our doctors have least hesitation, and lesser educated people have a higher hesitation. We get that it's very complicated. Do I need to speak more slowly for you out there that don't get it?
So, there apparently are some doctors that haven't received the vaccine.
There are some doctors that have not gotten it.
So are they the stupid doctors?
Exactly.
He really puts his foot in his mouth a lot.
Oh, my goodness.
He should probably shut up and get off of Twitter.
And about 40% of the nurses have not been vaccinated. So are you calling all your nurses stupid?
Yeah. That is pretty frustrating.
Yeah, it's very insulting is what it is. And it definitely doesn't make me want to go out and get the vaccine.
Yeah, the governor of our state came into town, and he was saying that the hospital should not force their employees to get vaccinated. Sort of like indirect response to these hospitals in town that are forcing and mandating the vaccine to their employees. So, thank you, Governor.
Yeah, so even if there's some kind of excuse or exemption that I could or could not be qualified for at some stage in this process, I don't know that I want to continue working for an organization where the CEO feels like the majority of his employees are not very educated, not smart enough to do as they're told. So, yeah, I'm just a little disillusioned. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you think it seems like he doesn't think before he?
You think?
Talks. Like
Well, I don't know, Kev. I'm too scared to figure out how. I'm too stupid to figure out. So I can't even talk right. I'm so stupid.
You're too scared.
Good gosh.
I mean, telling somebody that was questioning, I had questions about the vaccine to shut up, you know, and basically accusing them of murdering people.
No, not basically. He said that.
Yeah. And
if you don't get the vaccine, you are if you are giving out false information, which is just information, basically, because we don't know what's true and false at this stage, since the story changes on a daily basis, then you're murdering people. Okay.
Right.
Sure, buddy.
Right.
I don't know how you expect people to take that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's insulting. The whole thing is insulting.
Yeah, and then he's also being sued because he basically just got on Twitter and lambasted one of his own patients.
No, it was Facebook.
Was it Facebook?
It was Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got on Facebook.
Apparently, they had this code that the patients had to enter in order to make an appointment, and the only code available if you were self-pay, you know, not paying with insurance, was COVID. And she was like, well, it's not COVID, so I don't really feel comfortable putting that in.
My situation doesn't apply to any of these that you've put down. So she called.
Yeah. So this CEO.
And they told her when she called, well, I'm sorry, those are really the only options we have available to you. So she's like, you're going to deny me service? And she's like, well,
and the patient,
yes.
The patient got on Facebook and commented about it, and then this CEO just got back on Facebook and just lambasted her.
Yeah.
You know, his own patient.
Yeah, I know.
His own customer.
This man is unbelievable. I'm embarrassed to call him our CEO.
Yeah.
But anyway, because it's a good hospital otherwise, don't get me wrong. But boy, certain individuals, higher ups, unfortunately, have just made it. And you talk about propaganda, good Lord, people.
Yeah.
Good Lord. This past week, I have just, everywhere I turn, I'm bombarded with the whole lottery reward system.
It's like,
and hey, by the way, there's a vaccination clinic just tomorrow, just in case you change your mind.
Yeah. It's like you're working for a big cult or something.
I really feel like I am.
It's like
I feel like everywhere I turn, people are like, get the jab, get the jab. Get the jab, like zombie chanting, it's just weird that you're not doing that.
I mean, actually, I don't know, it's like a big vaccine cult, like a virus cult.
It's just so weird. It's like, dude, I'm not anti-vax. I don't want to get it right now. Thank you.
You've made a decision. You researched it. And we researched
exhaustively.
it. And
unfortunately,
decided
I feel like
that we're going to hold off on it. That's just our decision.
Right.
So.
And we know the risks.
It's not that you're stupid.
It's not like we're not educated.
Yeah.
We're educated.
You're not stupid.
Every time we turn around, we're being bonked on the head by education. Okay?
Yeah.
That's not the issue at all.
Yeah.
The issue is we say no. You need to respect that and move on. Yeah,
we just said we're going to hold off. Just like say if they somebody didn't want to have colon surgery, and they just said we're going to hold off. Would they react this way to someone that didn't want to have another procedure?
Right. It's an elective surgery. Yeah. So, but it's not elective in this day and age because they're fully convinced that the unvaccinated people are responsible for this new uptick in cases. And I know for a fact there are several people who have had COVID and have been fully vaccinated and have COVID again. Yeah. So you can't use that argument. You just can't.
Yeah. They say in the UK, 47% of the people that have COVID right now have been vaccinated.
Wow,
so
that's a pretty big chunk.
If you go on our county website, man, it just focuses on cases. They're just focusing cases, and you really have to sort of look for the number of deaths.
Right.
It's not like they're just focusing on cases, And there in June there were 19 deaths, unfortunately, but if you factor there's 350,000 people in this area, is it really that
Look, I
big
just
of a
don't
concern?
understand why everybody's making it everybody's business, because I'm not responsible for your fear, okay? I'm only responsible for me and my body and my family. If you are that nervous and scared, first of all, I'm sorry. But if you're that nervous and scared about this Delta variant or any other variant coming down the pike, because there's going to be more, of course, there has to be, because this fear tactic is working on people.
You're just being selfish.
Exactly.
Aren't you just being selfish?
See, that's my problem. Selfish how? How am I being selfish? I'm not responsible for your fear. You have choices. You can stay home. You can wear a mask. You can get the jab.
Yeah, we think you're
why do I have to participate in your fear?
Yeah, we think you're being selfish for trying to make us.
Exactly. I know the risk. If something happens to me, it's on me. Has nothing to do with you. So you guys just move on with your life.
But you're spreading the virus around.
Well, again, if you're worried about that, stay home. Wear a mask.
Yeah, if you're vaccinated, what do you got to worry about, apparently?
Really, exactly. So stop acting holier than thou because you think you're superior to me because you have the vaccine. Great. That was your decision. My decision is to say no. So let it go, people. It's just crazy how there's just so many bullies. And there's an article in the New York Times. No, sorry, New York Post. I don't read the New York Times. Ugh, sorry. Let me clarify again. New York Post, because they're actually a decent magazine news source. Diabetics make up 40% of COVID deaths in U.S., experts say. People with diabetes account for a staggering 40% of those who have died from COVID-19 in the U.S., according to the American Diabetes Association. The pandemic disproportionately impacted people living with diabetes. He called this statistic, this is Dr. Robert Gabay, told Health Day Now last week. He called the statistic really quite sobering, given that so many of the U.S. pandemic deaths came from a group making up just 10% of the population. As of Friday, the U.S. had seen 608,495 deaths from COVID-19, according to Johns Hopkins University, which would make nearly 245,000 of them diabetics. I can't say this strongly enough. If you have diabetes, get vaccinated. With the risk of hospitalization and death related to COVID being 6 to 12 times higher for people with diabetes, it's time to get vaccinated. And that's another point we make. If you have these comorbidities, then by all means, protect yourself. Whatever that looks like for you, protect yourself, of course. But for people like us who don't have those comorbidities, it doesn't make any sense for us to get the vaccine.
Aren't a high percentage of diabetics people with weight issues?
Well, yeah, of course.
Obese people?
Of course, yes. And again, the message is, it's the wrong message that we're trying to send out here. We've been so focused on this vaccine as a fix or a cure. How about we focus on living your life more healthy?
That's kind of like it is with everything, though. I mean, it's like people that have diabetes, they don't really train you how to, train you how to eat properly,
right?
And, correct your diet.
Right. How to turn that around. They just give you a Band-Aid.
Yeah. Yes. Insulin, and then take this and
yes,
continue,
absolutely.
Continue eating drinking a gallon of pop every day.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Essentially.
Exactly. And there are medications, and I just learned there's I didn't link to this on our show notes, but there's an IV concoction that has just come out recently that our hospital's been using on people with COVID symptoms. And if you give it to them early enough, what it does is it blocks the virus from entering your cells. And so you get over the symptoms a lot faster than you would without it. So there are proven alternatives out there to combat this virus, not just the vaccine. So again, why aren't we focusing more on these preventative measures as opposed to just reacting?
Well, because you wouldn't be able to get the vaccine and a booster shot every 6 months.
See, that's another thing too. They're already talking about a booster shot. It never ends.
Did you see that in LA County in California, they've got a mask mandate back in force for even people that are vaccinated?
Yes.
How would you feel if you had the vaccine?
And the sheriff of LA County came back and said, we are not going to enforce that law or that mandate.
Oh, did he really? I didn't hear that.
We're not going to come back and enforce that mandate because there's no science behind that decision.
Oh, the sheriff
is what
said that?
Said. And the second reason is because y'all have done such a great job of defunding my police force that I have no manpower to enforce it as well. Anyway. So yes, it was awesome.
I did not see that.
Yeah, I'll have to find that because that was pretty great. I should have linked that, but I didn't. And now, of course, speaking of variants, there's another variant on its way. In fact, it's already here. It's called the beta variant. And it's pretty heavy in the UK, but it only makes up 0.2% of the cases in the US. Among growing concerns about the effectiveness of the vaccines against the beta variant of the coronavirus, the UK will require all travelers from France, including those who are fully vaccinated, to isolate for 10 days when they return to England and Wales. The beta variant, first identified in South Africa, is spreading in France, though mostly in the Indian Ocean territories. Circulation of the variant in mainland France is low, just 3.4%. CDC data shows the beta variant accounts for just 0.2% of cases in the U.S., and the beta variant is thought to be less infectious than the Delta variant.
So it's beta, so it must have been identified before.
Yeah, it wasn't over here; it was over there.
Huh. It's going to keep going until they get to Omega. The Greek alphabet, Omega, and then what are they going to do after that?
That's just what I mean. There's just it's never going to end. At some point, we just have to draw the line in the sand and say enough.
Yeah,
is
and
enough.
they've got people so scared already about this. We went to eat again tonight, and the poor people at the restaurant, they were way shorthanded.
Oh yes, I feel so bad for people in the restaurant industry. It's a combination
of all the ridiculous stimulus packages and unemployment, but also people are just not going back to work because they were afraid of the virus.
Right. And side note, you kind of feel like this is going to, what'd you say about the economy?
Well, at some point, this is going to cause a recession, I think, because kind
of like a reverse recession, though, in some ways, right?
Well, no, it's going to be a recession because.
But isn't a recession when people don't have money to spend? Well, and you're saying that people do have money to spend, but they just have nowhere to spend it.
Well, that too, but there's going to be a lot of businesses go out of business. I mean, we saw 2 restaurants today that are closed.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's
the restaurant industry is really just getting hammered.
I mean, they really are. This past year has just been brutal for our economy.
Yeah, and then we went to go get some ice cream at this other restaurant, and they're...
Well, you could just say it, Sonic. We went to Sonic.
The stalls were closed because they didn't have people to go take
they didn't have the
ice cream
staff
out there.
to handle it. So it's
crazy.
crazy. But speaking of France, French face 6 months in jail for entering bar or restaurant without a COVID pass.
Yeah, they came out, was it last week? They came out and said you have to have the health passport. You have to present your health passport in order to eat at a cafe or a restaurant in France. And now, was that today that they came out and said that you can face 6 months in prison?
People in France who enter a bar or restaurant without a COVID pass face 6 months in jail, while business owners who fail to check their status face a 1-year prison sentence and a 45,000 franc fine.
45,000 francs? How much is that?
I have no idea. The punishments are part of a draconian effort by the French government to force citizens to get the coronavirus jab amidst multiple unruly protests across numerous major cities. Their president, Emmanuel Macron,
I think,
announced earlier this week that those unable to prove they're vaccinated or a negative COVID test at their own cost will be banned from using public transport, entering a cinema, shopping mall, bar, cafe, restaurant, and other venues from August 1st.
Yeah, that 45,000 francs is 48,800 United States dollars. And that was for businesses that don't check for the health passport.
Yeah, that's the business owner.
That's what some of these people want in the United States too.
Yeah, right.
Fortunately, we've got governors out there that are pushing back against that. So,
yeah, but I mean, how effective are they? I just hope and pray that the majority of people are not for any of these draconian methods and tactics, because this is scary stuff. Look what's happening in Cuba. Cuba is scary right now. Those poor people.
Well, Cuba's been scary for a long time, since the late 1950s.
Yeah, but now that they've actually had the cojones to actually protest, people are disappearing.
Yeah.
That is scary stuff.
100 protesters?
Are you serious? That many?
Let's see, I've got it here.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, over 100 people they're just missing. They were protesters. And, the Biden administration was blaming the protests on the virus.
Yeah,
People are
of course they
protesting the
were.
virus. No, I think they're protesting their communist regime. And
Right. I mean, there's no way around this. You can't sugarcoat this at all. They've cut the Cubans off completely. The internet, they have no more internet. They have no more access to the outside world. They're completely at the mercy of their government. And that is scary stuff, guys. I mean, let's think about this for a minute. Just think about this. How would you react if all of a sudden internet was gone? That means like satellites, no phones, no internet. We would be devastated. It would be devastating.
In some ways, a certain amount of the internet is already down because you can't talk about certain things without getting shut down. And the Biden administration came out this week and said that they want to flag posts that are misinforming people across all platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they started out by saying Facebook, and then it morphed into all social media platforms.
Yeah.
Let's see. White House urges social media to ban COVID misinformation super spreaders, which Psaki, I think she said in her briefing that there were like 12 people they identified as people that were super spreaders on
of
Facebook.
Misinformation?
Uh-huh.
I wonder who the 12 are.
I don't know. One day after disclosing that the Biden administration has been flagging problematic posts for Facebook to remove, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said that anyone banned on one social media platform should be banned on all of them.
Okay, if it's a doctor, say it's a doctor that just has a different point of view. I mean, whatever happened to having a second opinion? Going to the doctor and say, okay, I want to get a second opinion. So they're saying you can't get a second opinion now.
Well,
there's only one opinion. It's ours.
Well, and I think it's much deeper than that. I mean, doctors are too scared to speak up against their CEOs and other administration because of fear of losing their job, of being ostracized. So,
Yeah, and a lot of these doctors, I mean, once they, like the frontline doctors, once they come out, and have a different opinion, then like the banks cut them off, and their credit card company cuts them off, and they can't receive payments, and it's just really just outrageous.
So you're left asking yourself, like, what can we do to like kind of distance ourselves from these big tech companies because they have so much power. I mean, in case something goes down and they start cutting off like all right side people or whatever, I mean, what would you do? So, my sister-in-law, Kelly, she pointed out Candace Owens' video and promotion against the for the Freedom Phone, which is an Android smartphone that has nothing to do with the big, like, the AT&Ts and the Verizons and all that.
Well, you can use you still use your phone company.
Oh, you still use the phone company?
All you do is take your SIM card out and put in that new phone.
Oh, I see. So
you
you're
still
just
have your phone company. But you just wouldn't be locked into like using the Google App Store or the Apple App Store.
Oh, I see. I gotcha. So you can get this stuff from other places.
Which, I mean, really, if you think about it, you could still go to, if you have just a regular iPhone or Android phone, you could go to Parler or whatever website and download their app straight from it. So I'm not sure it's that much of a benefit.
Yeah, well, but I think it's a good start.
Yeah.
I think this opens up a conversation, like a bigger conversation on how we need to get away from all of this, from the Google and the Amazons and the Twitters and all that stuff, like with all these other social media platforms coming out.
Too much power.
Oh, absolutely they have. And I think it's really good that we've started realizing, well, we've got all of our eggs in one basket here. Yeah. We probably should start doing something different.
Yeah, like, wasn't it like January 7th or 8th, right after the January 6th protests, that Parler was banned from Google App Store and Apple App Store?
Yeah, you couldn't download it. It was dead in the water, basically.
And also Amazon shut their website down, so you couldn't even download it from Parler.
Right.
And you couldn't even get on Parler.
Right. And Amazon shut the American Frontline Doctors website down too.
So yeah, they have way too much power.
They have way too much power. So I think it's encouraging that the conversation is starting. and these entrepreneurs are starting to figure out ways of kind of getting around that and getting people away from that dependency.
There's actually another guy on YouTube that I've been watching for quite some time. His name is like Rob Traxman or something like that. That's his thing, is security on your phones and security on your email and things like that. He has a line of phones that are completely secure, apparently. So
I mean, and really it just starts, you could just start small. Like, I use DuckDuckGo as my browser instead of Google now, just little things like that, because I want Google to stop tracking me. And, just little things like that you can do to just start weaning yourself off.
Do you still make purchases on Amazon?
Yes. I do that. Dadgummit, though. Amazon's so hard to get away from.
It is hard. I know. I try not to use Amazon. I really try, but sometimes
I can't say I have.
Sometimes if I need something, like in a couple of days, how else am I going to do it?
I know. Amazon's a little bit like my crack cocaine. I just can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Amazon, but you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
Yeah. I mean, I've been trying to buy things more on eBay, support the little guy more.
Yeah, true.
But here's the funny thing. One time I ordered something on eBay and it came in an Amazon Prime packet.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So
that's interesting.
I don't know why that is.
Well, maybe they had some kind of deal set up with them or something. I don't know, but.
Yeah. And the wait time is not as fast.
So maybe
as
there's another
Amazon
entrepreneur
Prime.
out there that could start do a startup and challenge Amazon.
Man, Amazon, they've got. Have you seen the Amazon trucks around?
No, I have not seen one.
Just like little white vans.
No, I don't think I've seen any
unmarked
of them.
vans. But the guys, the drivers, all have like a light blue, teal Amazon shirt on.
Because they built one very near to our city.
Yeah.
So. No, I don't. I've not noticed.
Yeah, I kept seeing these white vans driving all over the place and stopping. It's like, what is that? Oh, that guy's got an Amazon shirt on. Oh, there's a package there now. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's going to be hard for somebody to compete with them.
Yeah. I'm just looking over some of the things that you put on the spreadsheet. So, Norwegian Cruise Line sues Florida.
Yeah, Florida has enacted a law that says you can't ask for proof of the vaccine. And it's a $5,000 fine for every time they ask. But Norwegian wants to ask for proof of the vaccine because they want to make sure their cruises are safe. And we've been on Norwegian cruise lines quite a few times. And I have to say, their cleanliness is top notch.
Yeah,
it's
it is
the best
top-notch.
Out of all the ones we've been on, at least.
Hands down. Yeah, they had some really beautiful boats. They're just beautiful boats.
Yeah, but they would have, even back way before all this ridiculous stuff happened, they would have people with hand sanitizer standing there.
Like at the entrance to the restaurants and stuff, and their little thing was washy.
Yeah,
washy.
Yeah, and we went on a couple of Norwegian cruises, and then we went back to another cruise line. It's like, why aren't people using the hand sanitizers and stuff,
Yeah, so they've got great policies.
I will say
place,
that about Norwegian cruise lines. But should they be asking for proof of the vaccine?
Well,
I mean,
but to be fair, but to be fair, they are a private company. They should be able to do what they need to do to run their company. So if you don't like it, you just don't cruise on Norwegian.
That's true.
So I don't know.
Okay, and then we have this kooky lady on CNN again saying that life needs to be hard for the unvaccinated people. The one a couple months ago, she said something like something on the same order. It's like that their health advisor lady.
Oh, this girl. Oh.
Yeah.
Isn't this one that said that we need to stop? People are not going to be incentivized to get the.
Yeah, states should stop opening up and stop doing away with mask mandates. What's going to be the incentive for people to get the vaccine? Then this is the same lady.
Yeah, CNN medical contributor Dr. Liana Nguyen said Friday that life needs to be hard for Americans who have not received a coronavirus vaccine with twice weekly testings. When the former Planned Parenthood president says, so now we have this Delta variant that is much more contagious. Because it's more contagious, It's going to be even harder for us to reach herd immunity. We're going to have to vaccinate an even higher proportion of people to get there. What happens then if we end up having another variant developing that's even more contagious, that could cause more disease, that could evade the protection of our immune system? See, it never ends.
Right.
It never ends.
And notice how she's focused on contagious. Okay, it's contagious. Colds are contagious.
Right.
But how deadly? I have not really heard much about the death rate.
With the Delta variant, I haven't either, actually.
It's all
been about cases.
Cases. That's all I keep talking about. But see, what she's talking about is kind of where France is.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
You get fined if you go out to a restaurant and you haven't been vaccinated.
She added, so how quickly we can get this under control and which way we go depends on what we do now to overcome disinformation. What we really need to do at this point is make vaccination the easy choice. Oh, trust me, lady. You've made it's pretty easy. It's an easy choice. You can get it anywhere you want. It's free. There's no question. I don't think there's not a person in this country that doesn't know that. Okay.
They're even going door to door to get it to people.
It needs to be hard for people to remain unvaccinated. Right now, it's kind of the opposite. It's fine. It's easy if you're unvaccinated. You can do anything you want if you want to do anyway. At some point, these mandates by workplaces, by schools, I think will be important to say, hey, if you want to opt out, you have to sign these forms. Get twice weekly testing. Basically, we want to make getting vaccinated the easy choice. That is what it's going to take for us to eventually end the pandemic.
Oh, that could never happen in the United States.
Can you imagine getting tested bi-weekly?
Yeah. Just think of all the things that we said that could never happen in the United States, like lock down your company and close your company down.
I had a coworker come to my office this week in confidence and talk to me. I'm not going to say what she was talking about, but she is just upset because she feels so out of control where this country is going, and she's just scared to death for her 2 young boys.
Really?
And yes, I mean, I just feel so sorry for her. It is frustrating. It's like you see this, it's going in the wrong direction and you just have no control over it. It's like, how do you stop this tsunami from just hitting you square in the face? You see it coming and you have no control over it. And it's just, and I just felt
just kind of
bad
like
for
what
her.
we were talking about last night. We went to this restaurant last night that's like a 50s diner. And we were just thinking, well, how much simpler everything seemed in the 50s. It was
actually really
I just wonder,
nice.
I wonder if in the 50s, if people thought, man, things are going to pot.
Oh, I'm sure every decade has something that's happening.
But we look back and think how simple it seemed back then. But I mean, they were probably thinking that Elvis's hip gyrations were.
I'm sure they had their own, their own big thing, but.
Okay, we've noticed that there's storage containers at almost every Wal-Mart. Have you noticed that? That's number
I've
39.
Noticed that. Which one is it? 39?
39. Yeah. I've never noticed that before at Walmart's storage containers.
Walmart's. Now listen here, you old hick. It's not Walmart's.
It's not Walmart's.
You're feeding into the stereotype, dear. You uneducated hick, you.
But I guess the theory is that there's concerns that there's going to be shortages of things later on in the year because companies can't get people to work, and therefore there's not going to be very much as much manufacturing and shipping and all this other stuff. So the theory is Walmart is building up their inventory for the holiday season.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of curious.
Well, and they're facing fines because apparently they can't have these containers on their land, by the way, for longer than 30 days without having to pay a fine.
Yeah, where is that? That's Florida or someplace, isn't it?
$500 fine per container each day. Woo!
Where was that?
This is...
Isn't it Tampa or someplace?
Let's see.
Tampa Bay News, so it's someplace near Tampa.
Yeah. But I think, haven't we seen those here in our town?
That's what I'm saying. Almost every single Walmart has got storage containers sitting around. And it's like they're all roped off. And I thought, well, first I saw it's like, well, are they doing construction or something? But then I started seeing it at almost every single Walmart's got storage containers sitting out there.
Yeah, it says it's not just Walmart. There are other retailers around town who over time have used their parking lots more and more for other purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're talking about like storage for rental equipment and tents for Christmas trees and that kind of thing. I don't think they're really talking about the same thing.
And when I first thought, I thought, well, maybe it's for people doing layaways or something. But
no, I think it's what we touched on the other, I don't know if it was the last podcast or what, when we were talking about how there's going to potentially be a shortage around Christmas time because simply because we just can't get the items to us.
Yeah.
In time, it's just taking a lot longer. Plus, it's taking a lot longer to actually manufacture these things because of manufacturing shortage jobs. Yep. So I think that they're just stocking up so they can meet the needs of their customers.
Yeah. Again, everybody, it's probably a good idea to have a couple of weeks worth of food sitting around,
And again, don't go out
and
buy more than you need.
Paper.
Exactly. Let's be calm about it, but definitely stock up and prepare because you just don't know what this fall is going to look like, especially with the beta variant and whatever other Greek alphabet's coming.
In the fall, it's definitely going to be some other variant, don't you know?
Yeah. I just still cannot. I know I say this all the time, but I can't get past the fact that people are just so crazy, just overzealous to get you vaccinated. It's just, it really is like a cult.
It's creepy. It
really
is
really creepy. It's creepy. It's so creepy.
Can you think of any other medicine that has been promoted as much as this?
I just don't understand it.
Look at number 41. Did you look at number 41?
Let's see here. No.
Click on that first.
Well, which link? You have two links.
Well, click on the first one.
What? Okay, so you click on the link antifa.com and it pulls up whitehouse.gov. That's weird.
And the question is, why?
That's
why does
weird.
Antifa.com? You click on, go to Antifa.com, and it opens up whitehouse.gov.
You even type it in, it does the same thing. I thought maybe it was just a link error, but
it's
no.
Like, what is going on with that?
That's bizarre. Where did you come across this information?
Oh, I heard a guy talking on the radio about it the other day. Antifa, the anti-fascists, they're actually the fascist anti-fascists.
Oh my goodness.
But if you click on that link, or just type in Antifa.com, what about Antifa.net?
Yeah, but someone would have had to direct that.
They'd have to set that up. Yeah, you have to set that up.
There's no way that could be an accident. Well, you better be careful what you type in on this because you just don't know where it's going to take you.
Somebody from the White House would have to set that up.
Yeah, there's no way that's an accident. That has to be directed. I mean, we've done websites and domains before, so we know how this works. You have to direct them to wherever you want it, the people to go.
So Antifa,
that's bizarre.
Antifa is the group that's going around, burning down buildings and tearing down statues all over the country. And, Joe Biden, big guy, just says, oh, Antifa is just an idea. It's not an organization. But yet they're, having riots and killing police officers and
are they trying
tearing
to
down
equate
statues.
Antifa to our White House or to the current administration?
I don't know. It's just
weird. I don't think I've heard anybody talking about this.
Yeah.
When did you hear about this?
I don't even remember.
It this week?
Yeah, this week. It's on my list this week. So it was later in the week.
That is bizarre. I'm gonna have to tweet this out.
You're a tweeter?
I have actually. Okay, fun fact. I have a Twitter account, and I'm on there because I like to kind of just see what's being said because I don't want to just be one of these people that just hangs out with like-minded people because that's kind of boring. I want to see what the other side is saying so I can develop some arguments against it whenever these conversations come up. And by the way, a lot of my responses to the New York Post articles and all these things have gotten a lot of likes and a lot of attention.
You are Karen is like a worldwide international superstar.
Yes, no, I'm not. I don't want to be, by the way. But I will also say that a comment that I didn't tell you this, a comment I made on YouTube, on a Cuomo video. Who's the Cuomo that works at CNN? I get the brothers mixed up.
Chris Cuomo.
Chris. He is interviewing this Dr. Leanna Wen, as a matter of fact, back in the day when she was talking about how, just what we said, that, hey, we can't open up because then what's going to incentivize people to get the vaccine?
He was the one interviewing her
and
at that time.
I commented on his facial expression, because when you look at his facial expression when she says that, it's like, it's like someone let out a secret that you didn't want people to know. His face is just like he's trying to tell her with his face, shut up, stop talking. We don't
say that. We don't want that. Yeah.
So I made a comment on that, and it's gotten almost 800 likes.
Really?
Yeah. I love it. And I don't do it to stir the pot. Okay, maybe a little bit. Yeah. But I also do it because I want people to think. I want people to think of a different perspective, because that's what it's all about. You don't have to agree with me. I don't do it because I want you to agree with me. I do it because I want you to think, oh, there's another side to this opinion or story or whatever.
Speaking of facial expressions, have you noticed the big guy?
I wish you'd stop calling him that. Because when you say the big guy, it almost puts him on a pedestal, like in respect.
It's not. It's a reference to Hunter Biden's emails where they were giving 10% of their slush fund to the big guy.
I think you should just call him the idiot, because he really is. He's just an idiot.
But he do you notice? He's been talking about this the election legislation that's passing in different states. He's been going around just lying, lie after lie after lie after lie after lie after lie. Did I say lie enough there? Just one lie after another. Did you notice his facial expression when he's lying?
I don't think I've ever
watched it. It's like that facial expression that your 2-year-old or 3-year-old has when they've got their hand in the cookie, got caught in the cookie jar.
Like,
it's like, it's like,
you just caught me. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm invisible. Don't look at me.
Look at it. It's like that. He has this childish look on his face.
Really? I'll have to start noticing.
Like he's been caught doing something.
I can't even hardly stand
to listen to him.
Kind of reminds me
whenever
watch him.
Whenever one of our sons went around in the front of the house and with a green magic marker, he put X's. We have this siding that's like this. It's like sections. And on each section, he put a green X and an O, X, O, all the way across the front of our house in magic marker.
It wasn't funny at the time.
Yeah.
But
and whenever I asked him about it, he said, "Oh," he blamed it on the other son.
Yeah. You got the other son. You chastised the other son.
Got in trouble, but it's like, wait a minute, that other son's too young to even know how to make an X or an O. But it's kind of that same facial expression. Expression where I've been caught.
Yeah.
Well,
how many times has he said that, I better stop talking, I'm going to get in trouble? Or, he's got to pull out a note card to answer a question. And
speaking of, did you watch him try to explain the big guy try to explain the new child care credit payments?
I didn't see that.
You should watch that. It's number 45.
Which, by the way, is another thing.
It's going to get people hooked on this. Yeah. But I can tell you right now, though.
That's the goal, is to get them dependent.
People are going to be very mad at tax time.
Mm-hmm. Now, why do you say that as an accountant? Why do you say that?
Because they're used to getting this big tax refund because of this credit. And now they're getting the money up front each month.
So they had to pay taxes on that?
No, that's a credit, but they're used to getting the money back at the end of the year as a tax refund.
So they'll get less back because of this program?
They did increase the tax credit quite a bit. From like 1,000 to 3,000, but they're getting it monthly instead of as a refund when they do their taxes at the end of the year. So I think there's going to be a lot of mad people at the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't even pretend to understand how this works, but it just sounds so complicated, and it is complicated, right? Don't you guys have to have like CPAs, classes every year?
Yeah,
just
and
to update?
CPAs argue about the rules. It's so confusing and
because
convoluted.
There's so many of them, probably.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the shock poll that shows a staggering number of Americans interested in seceding from union?
No, I didn't see that.
Americans are viciously divided along ideological lines at the moment, and a recent Brightline Watch and YouGov poll shows that many people want out of the United States. The survey asked 2,750 Americans from June 16th to 26th about a variety of issues, including if the United States should break apart into separate regional countries.
Which number is that on your list here?
That is number 7. Would you support or oppose your state seceding from the United States to join a new union with however many states in this new union? The poll asked. When broken down by Democrats, Republicans, and independents in each region, the results were depressing but not surprising. In the South, 66% of Republicans and 50% of independents believe their region should split from the rest of the United States, with 44% overall support. 44% overall support. Wow. The Blue, Pacific, and Northeast regions had 39 and 34% support for secession, respectively.
Yeah, I saw something on that similar to that. It had like a map.
Mm-hmm.
Had like a map. I've seen other maps on Gab. I don't know if you're on Gab, but it's a pretty good social media site
For conservatives.
It's a free speech one. So conservatives.
No, that's great. I think
it
that's
has
great.
both.
Everyone's welcome.
Everybody's free on there. But there's this map that basically has, California and New York getting kicked out, and the rest of the country, is one big country. But then I saw another one. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday this week, where they just basically have like the major left-wing areas, like, part of California and New York, of course, and the Northeast as, a country, and then Chicago and Michigan as another part of this new country, and the rest of us regular people.
Yes, and despite that, let's see, hold on. If the pollsters had framed the question as, do you want a civil war, it would have produced a more conclusive answer to the concept of seceding from the Union, and the numbers would surely have been much lower. Despite that caveat, it's important to understand there are some significant takeaways here about how Americans feel about the direction of their country. With the far left constantly finding new ways to tear apart American traditions, many Americans are struggling to believe that there are any shared values as a nation. As for the high democratic numbers, there is certainly a percentage of people who think the other half of the country is filled with vile racist. Spoiler alert, it's not. Anyone rooting for a national divorce is looking for the easy way out and is not interested in putting up the fight for American traditions and values. That's an interesting way of putting it. Also, I saw some people comment, like, if we all divide into separate countries, do we have to have passports to, like, pass into the next country through the United States or through the North American continent? I mean, can you imagine how complicated that would be? And how
you don't have to have a passport to go to Mexico if you drive from like San Diego to Tijuana. I don't think you do.
I think you do. Why would you not? It's not part of the. That's not part of the U.S.
I mean, I've been to Tijuana a few times. I never had even had a passport.
But when did you go to Tijuana?
I mean, in the 70s.
There you go. A lot's changed since then.
I don't think you have to. But you can't even go to Canada. I don't think they're even allowing.
No, they're not allowing anybody. Well, unless you. Well,
wait a minute. I think that you have to.
Well, I think you have to be vaccinated.
Proof of vaccination.
Yeah, you have to have proof of vaccination to go to Canada. But I'm 100% certain you have to have a passport
for anymore. I guess apparently.
Which is a shame because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But
man, I don't know if I want to go there anyway. You get stuck there, like get quarantined or something.
Yeah.
That's another thing about these cruises.
Yeah, I know.
They of course it was only 16 hours, but they quarantined the whole ship for 16 hours. I mean, just think if you got stuck on a cruise ship for a month or something.
Well, not only that, but then, I mean, you get on a cruise ship and you can't get off at ports because the ports are like, nope. Only the vaccinated can come off. And if you don't have a proof of vaccination, then you're stuck on the boat. So
yeah. Which, I mean, just go to the Lido deck.
Well, I mean, it's not like a big hardship because for those of you who've been on a cruise boat, it's like, I mean, there's so much to do. It's ridiculous. But how are we doing on time, by the way? I feel like
we are getting way up there on time.
Are we?
Yep. It's probably time for the questions. Probably time for the good part.
No, but hold on. Seriously. How are we doing on time?
We're up there.
We got a little time. Okay. There's something else that's kind of fun. This is just, I mean, it's not really funny, but it's just weird. I don't know if you guys have seen this story about shark advocates demand rebranding shark attacks as shark interactions. Shark advocates are calling for people to refer to shark attacks as shark interactions, according to a report in the New York Post.
You wouldn't want to hurt the feelings of a shark.
Isn't that crazy? Australian shark enthusiasts are urging the public to stop using the term attack when referring to shark bites, insisting that the media has warped the reputation of sharks and branded them cold-blooded killers. Instead, they suggest the term interactions as a more neutral descriptor of a bloody attack. Oh my gosh. Just that sentence. Let me read that sentence again.
Interaction.
Instead, they suggest the term interactions as a more neutral descriptor of a bloody attack.
Yeah, I had a
bloody attack, not quite so so violent.
Yeah, I had a head-on I had a head-on car interaction the other day.
I know.
You wouldn't want to be
Holy cow. And for what purpose? What purpose? Sharks are not our friends.
Don't you think people are just bored? Why else would they come up with something crazy like that?
Are we afraid of hurting sharks' feelings? I don't understand. I don't understand the objective behind this. I kind of think people are bored. I really do.
Well, yeah.
Anyway.
There was apparently a big riot at a South African mall. A big riot at a mall, and looting. Every store in the mall was looted and destroyed except the bookstore. That kind of shows you where we're at. That's one reason why there's so many people that are not very smart, because it's like
not very
books.
Educated.
Why would you want a book?
Educated.
Yeah. The bookstore in the mall was the only retail outlet that was completely untouched.
I think that is so telling.
Yeah.
That is so indicative of where we are as a nation right now. Because people the CEO of my hospital had a point. I mean, I understand what he was trying to say. His execution was terrible. But he has a point, because the uneducated are easily manipulated.
Yes.
For sure.
But he's selling short the people that are hesitating by thinking that they're not educated about this particular subject.
Well, he's definitely selling his employees short, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's definitely an insult to the employees.
Yeah. What kind of CEO would insult his employees like that?
I don't know.
Okay, here's a funny thing that happened to me the other day at a garage sale. I was at a garage sale with my uncle. He's looking for a vice, because he's making these rings out of old spoons. He's making jewelry out of old spoons. So he's looking for a vice. So we saw a vice at this garage sale, and we asked the lady. It was kind of an older, grandma looking lady there. And she goes, I don't think my husband wants to sell it. Why don't you ask him? So my uncle asked the guy if he wanted to sell his vice. And he goes, what? And my uncle says, would you like to sell that vice? And he goes, yeah, I'll take a couple. I'll take a couple dollars for it. Just give me a couple dollars.
He thought, wait,
and
what?
Then he goes, my uncle says, $2 for that? And he goes, I thought you said my wife.
Oh my Lord. Oh, what did he do?
It was just funny.
Oh, okay. That's
so
funny.
he was going to sell his wife for $2.
Oh my goodness.
It was this old guy. He couldn't hear. It was pretty funny.
Oh, that's funny. Speaking of your uncle and special needs, his uncle's a special needs learning. You would say he has some learning disabilities, right? For sure.
He has a learning disability.
Here's something I found kind of interesting. I don't know if there's any truth to it or not. But it says learning disabilities increase vulnerability to COVID-19 infection, severity of symptoms. Researchers have found that individuals with learning disabilities are more likely to suffer from severe cases of COVID-19 infection, with higher rates of hospitalization and mortality, which is exacerbated for individuals with profound disabilities such as Down syndrome and cerebral palsy. I wonder why.
I don't know. He is affected by a lot of things more than a regular person that's not disabled, like the heat and cold. He's really affected by it.
I guess it's just his brain's just wired differently, I guess.
Yeah. But just a lot of things like that he's just really, really affected by.
Well, don't tell him that because he's already scared enough of what's happening around us. So,
yeah, I just tell him do not watch the news.
Yeah. And really, that's just the standard for everybody, the advice for everybody. I mean, even us, we're kind of, would you call us political junkies? I feel like we've become a little bit like political junkies.
I like to be aware of what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't, there has been times when I've basically listened to the radio all day long, but I'm trying not to do that as much. I try to listen to, a little bit just to know what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. But boy, it does wear on you after a while, though. It's like sand against the shore.
It's very,
it just
very frustrating
wears
when you
away.
see things happening.
Yeah, it is frustrating. It really is. And it's kind of scary because you see so many things happening that you don't agree with and you have so little control over where it's going. And
yeah. Well, I mean, you can just pray about it.
Yeah, for sure.
And
definitely pray.
Do what you can in your neighborhood and your community.
Yes.
Talk about it with your friends and neighbors.
Yes, but be respectful. Don't be holier than thou. Again, remember, there's always
I usually take a baseball bat
sides.
over to.
There's multiple sides to a story. Don't get violent and mean about it.
Yeah, we have some pretty left-wing neighbors here.
Mm-hmm. We
and
sure
I'm
do.
friendly. I'm just friendly to them,
Oh, of course. I mean, first and foremost, we're all humans.
Yeah.
So be kind to your neighbor. Love your neighbor. And it's okay. You're just going to have to agree to disagree. And, because we sit here every week and talk to you about this stuff, we're not 100% right. I mean, we're just talking about these different stories.
I am.
Well, not like he likes to think he is, but we just talk about these different stories to bring awareness, if nothing more, that there is more out there than what you're listening to. And, just to consider that all sides before forming an opinion. I mean, and if we're wrong, we'll be the first to admit we're wrong. Well, I will. I don't know about him.
there was one other thing on my list I skipped over here. Do you know that it snowed in Death Valley a half an inch?
Wow. Okay, how is that unprecedented?
It's unprecedented. But you know when it happened?
When did it happen?
January of 1922.
Oh.
So,
So
could you imagine if that happened today?
Wait, it happened when?
January of 1922.
Of 1922.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could happen next year. 100 years, you never know.
Yeah.
And if it happens, just know that it's happened before.
Yeah, and I guess I kind of got off on that tangent because I was looking on the Weather Channel or something. No. Actually, whenever I was researching a certain hospital CEO on CNN, I noticed that they had a link for extreme weather. Why not just weather? It's just like the news media just is trying to push this climate change agenda too,
Yeah, for sure.
So
for sure. I mean, weather's boring. Extreme weather, however, might give you a couple of clicks and give you some money.
Yeah. But I went against my policy of not clicking on CNN links. I try not to click on anything
that would give them any money
for CNN, MSNBC, or any of the major news because that's just what they want is to get clicks, and that's how they get money for advertising. Right. I just avoid it. But I did go. I backslid and clicked on CNN because I was researching this article about your CEO.
Yeah.
Well, sorry about that.
So what did it say when you clicked on extreme weather?
I didn't click on it.
Oh, you didn't click on it.
I just circled it.
You resisted the urge, huh?
Yeah, but I did come across. I went to AccuWeather, and I did come across this article where in Death Valley they had snow in January of 1922.
So what was the purpose of them bringing that up? Are they trying to show that, climate change?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure because, they're always talking about these extreme weather events is evidence for climate change, but they're contradicting themselves because in 1922 there was this event in Death Valley. So I mean, weather is cyclical and it changes.
It always cracks me up, too, when something happens that hasn't happened in a while. They say, this hasn't happened since 1934. It's like,
unprecedented.
but it happened in 1934.
Yeah. It's
People are
unprecedented.
forgetting that part.
Yeah, they'll say this unprecedented event hasn't happened since 1924. Well, it's not unprecedented then.
Because it happened in 1924.
Okay, I got off on a tangent there. I'm sorry about that.
I know climate change is kind of a hot button for you. I know that kind of gets you going for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears and answer some questions since we are kind of getting up there on time. This is from the Table Topics Cube, tabletopics.com. If you guys are interested in, there's all kinds of categories you can buy, and these are just to promote conversations at family parties and things like that.
Because we can never think of what to say.
I know.
It's like, how are you doing? How's the weather? How's your grass this year?
Doing great. How's work? Well, it's the same old stuff. Nothing really I can talk about. So, yeah. And this is not sponsored, by the way. We just think this is really fun to pull out and do. Okay, so should the individual or society be of primary importance? Woo! Now that's a loaded question. Individual or society?
Individual. Unless somehow it harms society. But then here we go talking about the vaccine.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
And that's their argument, is it's good for society.
Right. But then you forget about, or you overlook, or you disregard the individual's rights to say what they want to do with their own bodies. So
it's got to be individual.
It's got to be individual.
But society overall has to, I guess, take precedence then.
I guess it depends on the situation.
It depends on it.
It depends on the situation.
I mean, if it was something deadly out there that there was no medications for, which, by the way, there are medications for this particular virus out there that many doctors say are effective.
And have been available since the very beginning, but was shut down.
Yeah, doctors that treat patients every day.
Yeah, I know.
So anyway,
but they're not the expert though.
Yeah,
the white lab coats are experts.
Yeah. Was I whispering? Was I kind of like whispering like Joe Biden there for a second?
No, but who was that other guy that came out? Did you see that TikTok of the other guy that was talking about you need to get the vaccine?
Another guy was.
Do it now.
Another guy was whispering.
Super creepy.
Is that some kind of like psychological?
I don't know. But I need you to get out there and get the vaccine right now.
I'd like to see that.
You're
Who was that?
killing people.
Well, Joe Biden said that Facebook is killing people.
Yeah, I know. It just gets crazier and crazier. Okay, back to the questions. What's the most beautiful place you've ever seen? This is a hard question because we've been to a lot of great places.
I mean, Hawaii is beautiful, very beautiful. Too many homeless people there.
Yeah.
Running around smoking weed. But the most beautiful place was, I don't even really remember where it was. I think it was Antigua. Was it Antigua? Where we went up on this huge mountain. One side was the Atlantic Ocean and the other side was the Gulf of Mexico.
Yes.
And it's like we were on this peak. I don't even remember where that was.
That was beautiful.
I think it was
in the Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. That was amazing. And so was Alaska. We went into the Yukon Territory in Canada.
Yeah, that was pretty.
That was beautiful too. I mean, wow. I still think of them because we took a train ride through the Yukon Territory. It was one of the cruise expeditions. And it was amazing. It was so pretty. Let's see, where's some other beautiful places we've been? I mean, really, any of the islands we've been to have been just amazing.
Canada was
pretty. Went to New England, Canada. That was really nice too. That was really pretty.
But definitely, those places like St. Thomas and Antigua.
Yeah, the Virgin Islands, I think, hands down. I think even more beautiful than Hawaii. And Hawaii's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Maui's pretty amazing. But, man, the Virgin Islands are just next level.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for sure. I think I would have to agree with that. Has anything bad ever happened to you that turned out to be for the best? Well, I mean, going back to your motorcycle accident when you crushed your pelvis, I mean, looking at the silver lining, you never want to get on a motorcycle again. That kind of killed that want and desire.
Yeah. I mean, that for sure.
Are you thinking of something else?
I mean, there's just lots of instances like that. And there's that verse in the Bible that often gets misquoted that says everything that happens to you, is because of God doing it. But it's actually misquoted. It's because the true translation is that God works for the best in every situation for you. It's a difference between saying that God does everything and causes everything. There's a difference between saying that and in every situation, God is there working for you. Like in the case of my motorcycle accident, within like 30 seconds, there were people standing over me praying for me. Believers just out of nowhere appeared.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I don't remember you telling me that.
Yeah. Within 30 seconds, that a youth minister he was riding a motorcycle going the opposite direction. Tom Crow, he's the one that left the message.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize he
within
was a
30
youth
seconds, there was a youth minister standing over me praying for me. And then also within just a couple minutes, there's just a lady out of the blue standing there praying for me.
Oh my gosh, that gives me goosebumps. That makes me want to cry.
But it's because the Lord is there working for you in every situation. He doesn't cause every situation, but he's there.
Right.
And I don't remember the actual verse, but I'll put it in the notes.
Yeah.
And on the screen.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great way of answering that question.
Yeah.
Good job. That's awesome.
So what about you?
I mean, I always, anytime anything bad happens, and I don't know that I've really had a lot of bad things happen in my life other than falling out of my car. No, I'm not going to talk about that.
She actually fell out of her car while
I did.
driving.
Literally fell out of my car. It's a long story. It was my fault. I'm stupid, but no one else was hurt, just me. But like you said, it seemed like I had help like immediately. Like I don't remember like laying there like, oh my gosh, what just happened? It just seems like there was, and it was a nurse, as a matter of fact,
really?
That stopped, pulled over. She was a nurse. And she's like, she was just helping me through it. And it's okay. Help's on the way. I've already called an ambulance, all that stuff. So, but I like your answer. That is awesome. And I always try to think, anytime anything bad or unfortunate happens, I always think, thank God it wasn't worse.
Yeah.
Because it can always be worse.
Yeah.
So count your blessings that.
And it's not God that causes these things.
Right.
But he's there to back you up when things do happen.
Right. So I guess that begs the question then why do bad things happen to good people?
Things just happen. There's accidents,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Satan's out there. Satan's in control of the world.
Yes.
And it's a chaotic world.
Yes.
1 John 5:19, the world's under the control of the evil one.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's chaos and there's just accidents that happen,
Yeah.
People aren't paying attention. They're looking at their cell phones and accidents happen or whatever.
Right.
It's not that it's caused by anything. It's just an accident.
Yeah. Good answer. I like that a lot. That's awesome. If you could have any view from your back porch, what would it be?
I always have this. Or do you want to start?
No, I was just looking to see what time how much it was.
We're
I know. That's the last question. I
time.
won't ask any more questions. We're getting up.
I always have this dream that I'm going to have this house sitting up on like a cliff over the ocean. Yes,
I know. He always talks about periodically he gets a bug and wants to move into a bigger house and more expensive. And it's like, I don't want a mortgage. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. But
sure would be nice. Overlooking a cliff like of what, just like a lake or
the ocean.
Oh, the ocean. Okay. I gotcha. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I want to say beach, but I sure like the mountains too, though. I think it'd be amazing to have like a big back porch that just overlooks this amazing, mountaintops and clouds and sunsets. And I just think that would be amazing too. So I would accept either one. Either answer would be awesome. But anyway. Oh, well.
All right.
Okay. So one last thing. Tell me what you've been up to this week. How's the trailer? Give us a trailer update.
Just fine details, the final details. I actually painted. I'm starting painting. So that's like the last thing, because I didn't want to paint up to this point because I didn't want to get everything scuffed up. So I'm painting. I never did mention I put some more windows in it last week or a couple weeks ago. I'm painting, just doing final things. I got some wheel covers, some really cool stealth-looking wheel covers for it today.
I know he showed me a picture of the wheels, and I'm like,
she didn't even notice.
Yeah, those are wheels.
Yeah.
And he had to tell me what he put on there.
I just got it just to dress it up a little bit more.
It does look nice. It does look really nice. I have to agree.
And I'm just transferring tools and junk that I've been using to build the thing out of it, because I am going camping next weekend with my uncle.
Yeah. He doesn't know about this yet, so don't say anything.
My uncle. My uncle doesn't know about it.
Yeah, his uncle doesn't know anything about it, but his birthday's coming up, and he was a huge help to Kevin in building this.
I couldn't have done it without him.
Yeah, he has been great. And so it just felt wrong for him and I to go on the maiden voyage when I haven't been any help at all to him when it comes to this project, and his uncle has been. So I think it's fantastic, and I'm excited for you guys to go. I think it'll be great. Yeah. So you guys can kind of test it out.
Yeah, it's just going to be a short trip down to Branson so we can test everything out, make sure everything works.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, other than trying to dodge the propaganda at every single turn,
I don't know how you can stand it.
And just not get myself into trouble every time someone brings it up, which is all the time. Not much. Planning and plotting for the future is basically what I've been very distracted with lately. So whatever that looks like. Anyway, thanks so much for listening. Appreciate your time. I know we went a little over today, but we had a lot to talk about. Lots going on, as you guys know. So again, we do this just to kind of bring some alternative views to your attention. Take them or leave them. And we just appreciate you watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching and listening.
And we'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.